Alright guys, good afternoon. Trey Knight from the Department of Wellness and Recreation, back with our next segment of our Learn a Skill. We're going to learn two knots today. One is actually a bend, connects two ropes together. The other is a hitch. A hitch is a little different than a knot. We'll go over that very briefly when we get to that, our clove hitch. But first we're going to learn the sheet bend. So, sheet bend, we're going to use it, we can use it to tie ropes that are close to or of the same diameter, but it's really helpful in that it can tie ropes of pretty different diameters. You can see here I've got this smaller red rope, and then the rope I've been using, this larger bright orange and yellow rope. So I want to start the sheet bend with the rope that is larger. So I'm going to lay this one across my leg here, and I'm just going to make a bite. And I don't want this piece of tail like with our figure eights running way down, but I also don't want it super short. Maybe a little bit more than a fist length, 8, maybe 10 inches at the most. Okay, so I'm gonna make that bite. I'm gonna transfer it from my dominant hand, and this being my running end, to it being the standing end. I'm now gonna take the end of my smaller rope, and I'm gonna pass it up through this bite, and now I'm gonna wrap. I'm going to wrap away from the bite. I'm going to wrap this way down this larger rope. I'm going to pull a little bit of this smaller rope through, so I've got plenty to work with. The more these two diameters are different, the more wraps I'm going to do. These ropes are pretty close, so I could probably get away wrapping, starting at this end, wrapping back towards here, all right, with just 2 wraps. Then going to take and lift this up through, creating a little hole. I'm going to pass my running end through, and I'm going to pull these wraps down on it like so, and I'm pinching the larger rope and the smaller rope together. So these wraps right here are putting friction on this piece that's coming across, and that's pinching down on the piece that came through, and I've got my sheet bend. All right, tied this guy a little short. I really want a little bit more because it can come loose a little bit, and I don't want this to back out. And a lot of times I'll want to tie it backup knot here or here with that. So we'll do that again. To untie this one, we're going to flex it like we have. Try and push this piece up, pull it up, and once I can get slack there, I can get slack there, and this thing comes undone pretty easily. So start over. Nice bite, not too much tail sticking down. Grab my smaller rope. This time I'm going to pull more through. I like to go ahead and wrap it once before I pull through, because if I try and do this and then wrap it, it just kind of falls back through that hole. So I'm going to pull this out, wrap it around, and then I can hold this piece here, and it's not going to fall back through because I'm pinching it with this non-dominant hand. You can also lower this a little bit, put it on my leg, and that might help us keep the shape, keep it flat. We can also lay this down. Wrap over, lift, go through, snug, everything down. Okay. You can take this, back it up, it's a little half hitch. That's just gonna change that direction, keep it from pulling through as much. So that's the sheet bend. Next, we're going to look at the clove hitch. So we're going to take a little bit of a turn here. First hitch that we're going to tie is my favorite. It's the clove hitch. It's one of the most useful knots, hitches, because it's not technically a knot, that I found and that I use in a lot of different applications in my life. A hitch, and I'm just going to tie the clove hitch real quickly around the carabiner here. We'll go through this slowly together. But a clove hitch, like any hitch, is tied around another object. So I'm going to do things with the rope, and here I'm going to take a carabiner, flip it and go through. And I've essentially tied this hitch by prepping it and then putting the object through around this carabiner. Here's our clove hitch, all right? As long as that carabiner's in there, this guy's not going anywhere. But when I take the carabiner out, all right, the hitch isn't tied around the rope itself, it's tied around an object or tied in a way that I can prepare the rope in its shape and put an object through it. That also might be something like a fixed length of a broom handle or a bat or whatever I might do, and then I can snug this guy down and it'll be around that object. So we're gonna grab our trusty watering can here. June, my dog's in the background. Jeannie, hey. June, come. June, good girl. Hey, can you sit? Good girl. Okay, go on. So, got an object here I want to tie the rope around, but I don't want to go through the trouble of tying that fixed loop. Maybe I need it to be adjustable. Maybe I just need it to be quick. I don't need to put near as much load on it. Clove hitch is a great option. So I'm going to start with my running end on my dominant hand, and I'm going to tie this generally the same way every time. And if I need to change the direction of the knot, I'm going to change my body. I'm not going to try and tie the knot in a different way. I'm going to move around so I'm generally positioning myself the same way as much as I can in reference to what I'm doing. And that helps the practice that I've done over and over and over again on how this works and how my dexterity and mechanics work stay same and get better and better and better, but still have the versatility to do it from different positions. So I'm going to go over the top of this. I'm going to go under it. I'm going to pull this kind of back and make sure I have at least 12 inches of rope. Then I'm going to go back over the top, but I'm going to cross. I'm going to pinch this. All right? I'm going to take this and come under. And now I've created a small hole between the top of this handle on the top side of my first loop. This has gone over and across, under, and now through. So I've got two loops, but the loops themselves are on the outside, and the rope coming in and the rope coming out are parallel and on the inside. Let's do that again. And that's the clove hitch. That is snug. Easy to untie. Start over the top, come back under, over and across, pinch. Here's the gap I'm shooting for. There's the shape. It's kind of like an 8 when we open it up. Pull it. Make sure we have enough tail here. If we want to, we can tie a little half hitch. That helps button things up a little bit. We can also wrap it around, come back, tie an overhand. Nice thing about this is that I can adjust it very easily without having to do much other than loosen it. So let's say I need this to be much longer. Pull this through. Pull that loop back up. And I've adjusted it. I can do the same thing in the other direction. Pull on both ends when I want to snug it up. We're good to go. Also, while it's under load, I can move it by ratcheting the knot back and forth. Slowly but surely lengthening this piece by ratcheting the knot back and forth. So that's the clove hitch, tying it around another object. That's the way we have to do it if the object we're tying it around is something that is fixed, immobile, like a tree, like a fence post, like the end of something we need to carry. However, if we're tying it on a carabiner, or we need to put a carabiner through, which might be the application that we'll use for this. It's used a lot in climbing, it's used a lot in rescue and paddling, different things like that. I can do it a little bit more easily. Get adjusted here so you guys can see. I'm gonna just work in the middle of the rope here. I'm gonna create an overhand loop, dominant over non-dominant. Pinch, non-dominant hand, move over 8, maybe 12 inches. Twisting the rope to help with the loop. All right, overhand loop. You can see this shape here where one on top of the other, and now I'm going to slide the initial one, my non-dominant hand, over the second one. Then can pinch here, flip my carabiner or object through, and here we've got that familiar shape we're looking for, where we've got the 2 ropes coming in and out on the inside in opposing directions, and then our 2 loops here on the outside, essentially pinching that in. And that's our clove hitch. All right. Thanks for tuning in, guys. Hit us up in the comments if you have questions, some other thoughts on the clove hitch, some other applications, or we're going to start taking some requests for some other knots that you guys have seen and tied and forgotten, or might have wanted to learn. Also, we'll plug this in the comments on the other videos as well, but animatedknots.com or Grog's Animated Knots is a great website to help you guys out with some slow motion animated tutorials, as well as some different applications for the knot in addition to the videos. We hope you guys are staying safe. We know the semester's getting to a close. Good luck on your exams. If we don't see you this summer, you guys have fun, be safe, and we'll see you guys soon. Thanks for tuning in.